Hello everyone and welcome to the live stream. I hope that you're all doing good. Tonight we are going to be hanging out for a couple of hours, probably like an hour and a half. I have a bunch of different things that I want to talk about. A lot that's happened today and yesterday, but a couple of follow-ups to situations that I've talked about in the past or, things that I plan to make videos on or talk more about in the future, maybe in like shorts or something. But tonight we're going to be talking about some funny topics. Funny because it's always funny to see projects are going to fail actually fail. Not that we want everything to fail, but it's funny to see things fail when we know that they were going to in the first place. So we're going to be talking quite a lot about Netflix tonight, primarily Resident Evil, and we're also going to be talking about their subscriber loss. So, as you all know, the Resident Evil show came out, and it has been quite a failure. The critics are not loving it. Audiences have absolutely hated it. And it's gotten pretty obliterated all over social media. But of course, there are always a few people who want to not be, typical girls. They just want to be they want to be special and unique. And journalists have decided that they are going to be those girls. The journalists have decided that this show is amazing and it's fantastic and it's great and that it's the strongest adaptation of Resident Evil yet. That's a big fucking honk honk. And just Resident Evil review, Netflix's zombie series is obscenely good, and it isn't just one of the best additions to the storied franchise. It's far and away one of the most addicting, thrilling, and delightfully unpredictable shows of 2022, which, of course, I call full cap on. That is just a complete and utter lie, because of course it's getting destroyed by audiences on Rotten Tomatoes and literally everywhere. We're going to be talking about Resident Evil. We're going to be talking about Netflix also losing over 1 million subscribers this year, primarily how now Netflix has lost 970,000 subscribers in Q2, beating its estimate by more than 1 million subs, and of course that follows their 300,000 loss in Q1. So we're going to be talking about that, couple Netflix topics. We're also going to be talking about Vic. If you all didn't hear, Anime Matsuri is creating a new dubbing studio with Vic. I found this out a little bit earlier today, and I really wanted to talk about it because, of course, we've seen all of the shit that Vic has gone through and how there have been people trying to push him out of the industry, but it's not quite working. And now we've actually got some pretty positive news on that front. We're also going to be talking about the Rippaverse, and I've talked about it briefly. I've given kind of my opinions on it very briefly in a couple of live streams now, because of course people come in, they ask. I haven't covered it in any videos, but I did want to talk about this because of course right now it's blowing up, okay? It's been trending on social media. Lots of people are talking about it. But unfortunately, of course, comic book subreddit has banned Rippaverse comics for supporting comics from hate groups. Of course, absolutely no fucking surprise there. There are people in these Reddits and on social media who don't want individuals to be successful because they don't agree with them politically. They don't agree with their viewpoints on entertainment, on media. But Rippaverse Comics, of course, is doing fucking fantastically, and they have already propelled way, way past their goals and their milestones, over $2.6 million. So we're going to be talking about that, and we're also going to be talking about Lollipop Chainsaw. Now, this is a kind of more in-depth topic, primarily because I talk a lot about censorship on the channel, and I always try to give developers kind of the benefit of the doubt when they say they want to do something. I try to stay positive about it. And the Lollipop Chainsaw producer came out and talked about how they don't want to censor Juliet's design, and they plan to keep it as close to the original as possible. But at the very end of their statement about the Lollipop Chainsaw, remake, they basically said that they are planning to negotiate with platform holders to keep the remake as close to the original as possible. And I mean, that to a lot of people, I'm sure, doesn't sound bad. Like, oh, hey, they're gonna try to keep it as close to the original content as possible. But this is kind of the problem, that they're going to negotiate. Imagine developers with a more adult-themed game going and trying to negotiate with Valve or Sony, saying, hey, listen, we want our game uncensored. We're willing to negotiate with you. Do you really think that they're going to negotiate back? Do you really think that they're going to allow developers to put their games on their platform uncensored? Hey, I've talked a lot about censorship on this channel, and my answer right off the bat is just a giant no and a laugh. Of course, because we've seen how many games these platforms have forced censorship upon. So those are the topics that we're going to be discussing tonight. But welcome, everyone. I hope that your evening is going well, and we'll get started in a minute or two. But yeah, hi guys. Translation, we hate EVS so much. Yep, EVS, anyone who associates with EVS, anyone that follows EVS, anyone that EVS follows. I mean, it's funny to see these people fucking mauled and seethe all the time, because they just cannot accept the fact that there are people out there who like things that are different from them. They can't accept the fact that everyone in this world is fucking different. People have different tastes in entertainment, in media, in literally everything, and they can't accept the fact that people have different opinions than theirs. So of course then they go on these ban sprees, because God forbid someone have opinions different than ours and like something different than us and disagree with us, and then of course you end up getting banned. Why is this getting a remake? I've talked about remakes also quite a few times on this channel. I like the idea of remakes, of getting these games that we have a lot of nostalgia for, with new graphics and new music, but we've seen so many remakes come out and be absolute trash. I don't know why. I don't know why I would trust remakes when I instantly hear about them. Like this, Lollipop Chainsaw is great. I could be super excited for a remake, but am I going to be excited when producers are talking about negotiating with platform holders? Not really, no. But yeah, it's, we're gonna talk about Lollipop Chainsaw first. Super Bullet Break is out now, I think. Super Bullet Break comes out... It comes out at the beginning of August. Also, guys, today, Stray released. I decided not to stream Stray today just because I wanted to do the discussion stream. So on Thursday, we will be starting Stray. Also, tomorrow evening, I am going to be doing a supporter stream. So if you are a member via YouTube channel memberships, a Dark Titan via Patreon, things like that, you will get access to that stream, which is really fun and exciting. It'll probably be like an hour-ish long. I'm not sure what we're gonna do yet, but if you guys have any game suggestions, let me know. Yeah, I don't know. The people that want everyone banned from their communities for not agreeing with them on everything, they're pretty fucking crazy. Like, there are people that I follow, that I support, that I don't 100% agree with on every little thing. But that doesn't mean that I'd want them banned out of communities I'm in just because, oh, you didn't agree with me on every single thing, therefore you're a terrible person. These groups behind, you know, this comic book subreddit talking about how they want to be, you know, inclusive and they want to be nice and they don't want harassment in their communities, and they're banning people because they're part of hate groups or associate with hate groups, or whatever way they want to spin it, are the people that are being hateful because they're banning individuals that have done nothing wrong from their platforms because they're just assuming. Guilt by association. Like, how does that make sense? It really doesn't. But these people, they don't do things that make sense, okay? They don't. They never have, and they never will. Not even Bayonetta is safe from censorship, even if it's optional. I don't know. I mean, I made a video on the Bayonetta thing. I don't think that it is a bad or negative option. Even though there is a more, you know, toned down mode that you can activate, I think that that is a much larger step in the right direction. Even though I don't like it, even though I would never use it, I would rather it be there than have the base game and all the content that I want to consume being censored. I think that it is a very, very fair middle ground to have the developers be able to create what they want, but also provide people with the more slightly toned down content that they want to consume, and I think that it's a positive thing. I would be perfectly fine if every single developer put a more censored mode in their game as long as the base game is left uncensored. So that is just my opinion. Everyone's allowed to have their own opinions, but I don't see it as a, you know, more negative thing. Especially with over the years how much censorship has been forced upon games and how many developers have been forced to change their content. So your typical Reddit user in a nutshell. Yeah, I don't use Reddit, but it seems like a really terrible place. It seems just so bad. It seems just so shitty. Having opinions is evil. I'm surprised these people hate religion because having to follow blindly is something lots of cults do. Yeah, I don't think that having, you know, opinions should be viewed as evil, but to a lot of people, yeah, it's my way or the highway. If you don't instantly agree with me on everything, your opinions are instantly wrong, and that means you're an awful person. Massage Freaks is jank to teen rating? Is it? Because when I talked about it a couple days ago, I didn't see a rating for it. I looked it up, and I couldn't find a rating. We knew that it was going to be 0D, so which is 17 plus, but we couldn't find, or I couldn't find, and no one else on Twitter, from what I saw, could find an official ESRB rating yet. It hadn't actually been rated. But yeah, if you have that, let me know. Or if you can tweet it at me or put it in Discord, I would be appreciated. They toned down Massage Freaks. I was going to get it. I did put up a video yesterday on it, but the developers basically came out and said that they were accepting emails from people who were upset on social media to listen to their feedback, and they would be open to changing expressions and characters in the game, aka toning things down, altering things, censoring things. I did talk about that in a video yesterday, but we didn't hear anything about like real meat to that story. Like, they said that they were going to listen to feedback and potentially change things, but we didn't hear changes to a rating. We didn't hear about any specific instances of changed content. So yeah, very disappointing to hear about developers, you know, seeing some social media backlash and then saying, you know what, we're willing to listen. And it could all just be cheap talk, right? They could have just put out that statement on social media to shut people up so that the angry individuals could email them, and they could turn around not censoring anything in their game and not changing anything. But to me, as soon as you acknowledge that people are upset and you talk about potentially being willing to change things, that right there, that cuts off any kind of trust I would have with them. Like, I wouldn't pre-order it at this point because I don't know what the final product is going to be. So, yeah, big L. Yeah, talking about it is enough for me to not pre-order it, to not think about supporting it until it's actually out and I know for a fact that nothing was changed, because you shouldn't acknowledge it at all. They could have just put out a statement saying, hey, if you have problems, feel free to email us, and that would have been that. But they didn't. They went on about changing expressions and characters, and they want to make sure the game, you know, everyone's comfortable playing the game, so, you know, it wasn't just like a very blank, hey, if you're mad, email us statement. So, not feeling too confident about it now. But alright, chat, let's get into the first topic of the evening, which is going to be Lollipop Chainsaw. Because the producer, a couple of days ago, made a statement talking about how they don't want to censor Juliet's design, but they will negotiate with platform holders to keep the remake as close to the original as possible. So it says Lollipop Chainsaw's series producer has denied the remake will be censored, but will nonetheless have to negotiate with platform holders. No. 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 Therefore, we do not, in fact, have any real information on it not being censored, okay? They're saying it's not going to be censored, there's going to be no censorship. But by saying they have to negotiate with platform holders, aka Valve, Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, even though Nintendo's been good, Nintendo doesn't really wouldn't really matter here. They still are saying that they have to negotiate about what content is going to be in the game. That instantly screams things could be changed. Because let's say Sony denied their game and said you have to change all of these things, and they responded to Sony, well, let's change only half of them and leave the other half. That right there is them being open to the idea of censorship. Saying they have to negotiate is them being open to that idea. It says, as previously reported, the 2012 hack-and-slash video game was teased and eventually announced to be having a remake in 2023. Maybe this is a hot take. I feel like it's not a hot take. Why does a game from 2012 have to have a remake? Why? A remaster, I could understand where it's just like slightly better graphics, maybe slightly better performance. But a whole remake for a game only made in 2012 that looks very, very good visually still? I don't understand why they would decide to go ahead with a full-ass remake. I'm not against it. I like Lollipop Chainsaw. I want to see this release. But why? It's not even that old. Right, why a remake and not, like, a sequel? Why? Seems weird to me, but it says, however, the remake would not be without hitches. Many of the licensed songs within Lollipop Chainsaw would be impossible to use again, and aside from a few of those tracks, the soundtrack would feature new music. They did end up addressing this, but let's see, does it have a screenshot of the full... Okay, I'll just read from here because it does go through the full statement. So, it says... Yasuda also stated, since we have access to consoles with higher specifications, we will be taking a more realistic approach to the graphics this time, since the original game had a unique style, and the near decade of censorship of sexual content in video games, fans were worried that this was a veiled confession the game would be censored. As such, he took to Twitter once again to clarify some points. Many fans have asked questions about Lollipop Chainsaw's remake, so I will answer them. It has been a week since the remake was announced, and many fans have inquired about the contents of the previous announcement, and we would like to take the time to share our thoughts and intentions regarding the project. The primary goal of the remake is to make it so that players who wish to play the game can do so easily, not to make a new Lollipop Chainsaw game, which to me doesn't make a lot of sense because... while, yes, you obviously want as many people to play a game as possible, you're clearly remaking it. Which is... it's... I don't know. To me, it's still kind of like a new Lollipop Chainsaw game. And I don't even know why they're so against the idea of another Lollipop Chainsaw game, like a sequel. But Apparently they are. It says, however, we were unfortunately unable to include 16 of the licensed songs, which were a great part of the original game's feel, so we are instead aiming for a remake that is as close as possible to a remaster. So it's closer to a remaster, but it's also a remake, but they don't want to call it a remake, so they're calling it a remaster. Even though it's not a remaster, it's a remake. I'm feeling a little bit of potential miscommunication here. It says we have taken note. Oh, I also wanted to say one more thing about this. I understand that they cannot include 16 songs because of licensing problems. When you are making a new game from the ground up and you're calling it a remake, but you can't include 16 licensed songs, and the soundtrack is a giant part of Lollipop Chainsaw, you might as well just make a sequel at that point. You can't include a lot of the original music. You're remaking it. Why not just go with a number 2? It says, we believe that Lollipop Chainsaw's story is a huge part of what fans loved about the original game, and we, the development staff, feel the same. As such, the story will not be changed in the remake. But we do not intend to change the aesthetics of the game either. The mention of how the game will have a more realistic look in the previous announcement was meant to refer to how we will make use of the advanced rendering technology available in current game consoles. We do not wish to change Juliet's design, and the assumption that we want to is baseless. We were the ones who created her model data after great trial and error 10 years ago and feel attached to her more than anyone else. And I would, if this was all they said, I would feel confident in this. They're talking about how they're not censoring it. Finally, we learned about the announcements of the remake that many fans are worried about censorship. We have not yet discussed the issue with platform holders and thus cannot say anything about the topic. But what we can say is that we intend to negotiate with the platform holders to make it so that the game can be as close to the original version as possible. And this is the problem. Okay, if they were just saying right off the bat, we don't want to change her design, we're not going to change her design, and those assumptions are baseless, and they left it at that, I would be like, okay, I feel pretty confident in these individuals, in these developers. They know what they want to do, they know their direction, they're sticking to it. But then they go on to say, you shouldn't be worried about censorship in the game, but we also haven't discussed the issue with platform holders, and they can't say anything about it. Instantly turns me off from this project, because that's what happens, okay? They have this idea, they want to stick to the original content, that's great. But then if they bring the game to Sony, they bring it to Microsoft, they bring it to Valve, whoever they want to bring it to, those companies, especially Valve and Sony, are going to look at them and go, you can't have this content, you can't have that content. Look at the achievements. There were achievements in this game where you looked up Juliet's skirt. Do you think that Sony's going to allow that achievement in a game on their platform in 2023? Absolutely fucking not. If they do, I will give Sony a golden fucking medal. I will go out and buy a second PlayStation 5, okay? But I don't think that that's going to happen. I am so confident in saying that that isn't going to happen. And I don't think that all of these costumes that were in the original game are going to stay intact. Even if they don't change the story. There's outfits, okay? There's dialogue. There's achievements. There are so many different things that could be altered and that could be changed. And by saying we have to negotiate with platform holders gives me no confidence in this project. Thank you, Theater, for the CA $2. Booby Lives Matter. Okay, Booby Lives Matter. Say no to remakes. The boobs in the super chat, it's okay, you're not so great with making these emojis, Theater, but A for effort. But thank you for the donation, much appreciated. But yeah, I would love to feel confident in this remake, and I've been asked a lot about it because I didn't get a chance to make a video on it. Right now, I'm not feeling very confident in it. When I heard, about them negotiating with platform holders, my mind instantly went to these developers trying to negotiate with Sony, where Sony has been so fucking strict on content going onto their platforms. The only way I could see it not getting censored on platforms is if they went to Sony and Valve and literally said, here's the estimated revenue we're going to gain. This is how much money you can gain, and it's like shit tons of money. I don't think, I'm not trying to sound negative here, I don't think that Lollipop Chainsaw is a remake, a 2, a 3, a 4, a remaster. Any Lollipop Chainsaw would be on the scale of something like an Elden Ring. Because, like, Elden Ring wasn't censored, right? Games like that don't get censored because they are going to make these platforms so much fucking money. I think that Lollipop Chainsaw is very popular. I think it would make a lot of money, but I don't think it's on that next level that Sony goes, okay, you don't have to censor any content, which is the very unfortunate truth about most of these situations regarding censorship that I end up talking about. So that's all that I really had to discuss with Lollipop Chainsaw. While the producer is saying we do not plan to change the story, to change outfits, to censor the game, they're also saying we have to negotiate with platform holders to see how close we can keep the remake to the original as possible. And a lot of people, myself included, are not feeling so hopeful after that statement. So, next we're going to move into the Rippaverse. This is going to be a relatively quick topic. Probably. The next two topics are most likely going to be, you know, relatively quick, but there are a couple of things to discuss here. That's why developers should make PC games. Well, I mean, in a lot of cases they do, and yes, you know, modders can restore content, but there are a lot of people still who don't mod. So to me, it's like, yeah, it's great if it's on PC and then modders can fix it, but at the same time, the base game, there shouldn't be any censorship there at all. Sony is losing their way with their consumers, and it's really starting to show. Oh yeah, I 100% agree. I think that people's opinions of Sony have definitely changed a lot, and I've said this before, Sony has some amazing fucking first-party games. I'm not saying that all Sony and PlayStation's content is bad, but, you know, we also run into issues like this where we know how they're going to respond. We know what's going to be on their platform and what's going to be banned, what they're not going to allow. I mean, I talk about it all the time, but, you know, people used to look at Nintendo and feel the way that they feel now about PlayStation and Sony. It used to be Nintendo censoring everything because they wanted to maintain their family-friendly image, and now, you know, it's the opposite. Nintendo allows basically fucking anything on their platforms. There have been a couple of cases of Nintendo censorship over the past few years. They're not perfect, but they've done a hell of a lot better. And now it's you know, Sony and Valve who are being very, very gross, I guess, just gross about, you know, these made up basically rules, the double standards, things like that. The Puritans would put her in a burqa if they could. There are a lot of people out there who would love to see females in video games and movies and just entertainment in general be covered up and be toned down, which I think is disgusting. I mean, you know, I clearly don't think that being a woman is a bad thing. I don't think that a woman showing skin is a bad thing, but hey, everyone's got their own opinions, I guess, and the Puritans can have theirs, I'll have mine, and we can leave it at that. We can agree to disagree. If only it was that easy with these fucking lunatics. Like, hey, we're adults, I'll agree to disagree with you and your opinions, but it's never that fucking easy with these people. So yeah. Now we're going to talk about Rippaverse, which I've I've mentioned it once or twice in the past couple of live streams, but first of all, congratulations to Eric July for launching this, for having this idea, for giving the people what they want content-wise. But unfortunately, it doesn't seem like it's going to be a very easy journey. Now, that, of course, is not going to stop him, and I'm sure the team that's behind him, the people that are going to be helping him with this project. But I wanted to talk about this specific case with Rippaverse comics, because this shit pisses me off so fucking much to see people banned off of platforms, whether it's a Twitter or a YouTube or a Twitch or a Reddit, because they dared to put out content that people like, and because they dare to know people. Unfortunately, it's just as simple as that. You have interacted with specific people, guilt by association. You know people, you know someone who knows this other person that might know this other person. But the comic books subreddit has banned Eric July's Rippaverse comics for supporting comics from hate groups. Absolute fucking honk, honk, honk clown world. So it says Eric July's launch of his Rippaverse comics was banned by the comic books subreddit, which touts over 2.5 million true believers. Now, right off the bat, it is very easy for us to say, fuck this subreddit, fuck the people that are on this subreddit, who cares about what these people think? But at the same time, this does suck for him and his team, because this is a very large group of people who, you know, could have been looking at this project if it was posted there. Unfortunately, these are 2.5 million people who might not be able to, you know, find out more about this project. It says a Twitter user shared a screenshot showing the subreddit banning his promotional video for Rippaverse comics titled "Welcome to the Rippaverse." Not only was the promotional video banned from the subreddit, but the user attempting to share it was also permanently banned. What the fuck? It's not even like it's, oh, hey, don't post this type of video, or hey, here's a first warning. They literally not only just outright banned the video, but they also just outright permanently banned the user. What? That's very extreme. It says an error message on the post reads, "Sorry, this post has been removed by the moderators. Moderators remove posts from feeds for a variety of reasons, including keeping communities safe, civil, and true to their purpose." Now, of course, I watched this promotional video. There was absolutely nothing in it that should get anyone banned. It is just a promotional video saying, "Hey, I'm creating this thing. This is my product. This is my new line. Welcome to the Rippaverse." It's like they thought. It's like they took this video, right, as this giant announcement of, you know, screw you. This is the type of content that people want. You know, go F yourself if you don't like it. Like, it's like they saw this and instantly went, it's going to be negative, or it is negative. They probably twisted words in it the way that they wanted to, and then they banned it. Because, of course, this is what these subreddits do, is they hear one thing and then they twist it. They ban you for it. They ban anyone associated with it, okay? I don't use Reddit for this specific reason. I do not like Reddit. I do not like a lot of subreddits. There are some subreddits, like a small handful, that I'll occasionally check out, but besides that, like, I don't actively use Reddit, and this is the #1 fucking reason why, okay? I remember back when I started the this YouTube channel, I did a lot of Magic the Gathering content. I got Thanos fucking snapped from, like, the official Magic the Gathering subreddit. They would delete anyone posting about me, because that's how, you know, unfortunately a lot of these communities are. Thank you, Theater, for the $2 super chat. What is the Varaverse happening, Vara? Probably never. Probably never. It may be one day. I wouldn't hold my breath, but thank you for the donation. Much appreciated. It says a message from a moderator then stated, "You have been permanently banned from participating in r/comic books. You can still view and subscribe to it, but you won't be able to post or comment. Of course, the classic, hey, you can still come to our community and you can still give us your views and your clicks, but you can't post anymore because we don't like you. It says, the user did indeed contact the moderator team and asked, I'm curious, why was I banned? And the moderator then responded, you broke rule number 1 as pertaining to supporting comics from hate groups. What the fuck? Of course, if you look at their rule 1, it's basically anything under the sun. If they want to ban you, you can be banned for literally anything. Be civil, racial, sexual, homophobic, cultural slurs are permanent ban. Do not disparage the differently abled or threaten to incite harm against other users, creators, industry professionals. Any form of bigotry or support of hate groups such as Comicsgate is not permitted. Of course, honk, honk, honk. They banned this user and also Rippaverse Comics because of an association to a, hate group. Bigotry, supporting a hate group. Absolute bullshit. It goes on to say individuals of every demographic are important and deserve representation both in media and as creators behind media. So stupid, guys. It is absolutely so stupid, but Bounding into Comics also goes on to post, the comic book subreddit is no stranger to banning comic book creators for having different views than moderators of the subreddit. They previously banned Florida Man editor and Bleeding Fool editor-in-chief when he shared a link to the Indiegogo page for Florida Man. A moderator informed him Comicsgate support is not tolerated on this subreddit, such as pro-Comicsgate websites like Bleeding Fool and Comicsgate-led crowdfunding campaigns. It's so disgusting. It's so fucking stupid. But fuck the comic book subreddit, because Rippaverse Comics is doing absolutely amazing right now. This was an update from last night. And another one bites the dust. Thank you for propelling us past milestone after milestone. $2.6 million already. I'm curious, for those of you who are in chat, do you plan to support Rippaverse Comics? Do you plan to, purchase any products in the future? Do you follow them on social media? But yeah. I wanted to briefly talk about it. Maybe at some point here I'll do a video on this. Absolutely disgusting situation now. How, of course, that's the reason why Rippaverse Comics is banned from this subreddit for supporting comics from hate groups. Rippaverse Comics, Comicsgate, all of it is considered awful and terrible to these people who cannot just accept the fact that other people have different opinions, like different content. They're soft little soy boys. So yeah, that's all that I had to discuss with that. But yeah, we'll move on to the next topic in a minute, which is going to be about Vic. It's actually a very, very positive situation, and I'd only heard about it today, and I was really wanted to talk about it quickly. Even though there's not a lot of information on it, I think that it's still really important. I think that it's still a really important topic to cover. Already got my copy. I got the book. I support him all the way. Nice. I'm glad to hear that so many people are, excited about this project and the Rippaverse. I think that it's great. I'm all for creators, creating things that they want. Whatever that is. I'm all for independent creators. And you guys know, I have nothing against, Comicsgate or EVS or really anyone. How many people have you guys seen me beef with or not agree with on this channel? Very fucking few. And we're talking, the worst of the worst people in my opinions, like Zoe Quinn, Anita Sarkeesian, individuals who have joined industries to watch them burn. People who have joined industries to tear them apart. Those are the only people that I am against. Those are the only people I don't support. Besides that, create whatever the fuck you want. Do whatever the fuck you want. I mean, I talk about it all the time, even with people whose opinions I don't agree with. If you want to go and create something, you go for it. I don't have to watch it. I don't have to consume it, and I probably won't if I don't like your content. But that doesn't mean that you should get a chance to create what you want. Wait, does Vera beef? I thought she was vegan. I'm not a vegan. Do I look crazy? Okay. It's a joke. Now YouTube's gonna ban me. Saying Steve Rogers is Captain America makes you hateful. Steve Rogers is fucking Captain America, and I am hateful. EVS can draw the Varaverse. Do it, Vera. That sounds like it would be a large project. Great idea. Great idea. But I don't plan to do a Varaverse anytime soon. I kind of agree they're doing superheroes to death. You know, I've talked about superheroes and people are getting a bit sick of superhero content, but I feel like I always say, if you want to create something, go for it, and hopefully you can create something that is better than what already exists. And you should be given the chance to. Even though I am personally a little bit worn out with seeing so much superhero content, that doesn't mean that I wouldn't be open to the idea of new superheroes, new superhero content, things like that. And Peter Parker is Spider-Man. No one else is fucking Spider-Man, okay? I want the Varaverse also. Maybe one day you guys will get a collaboration, okay? We'll leave it at that, okay? Let's leave it at that. Go and tweet at everyone you want. The Rippaverse, EVS. Say you want a Vera collaboration. That's the closest you're ever gonna get to a Varaverse chat. EVS has popped up in Vera's chat. Vera's on EVS's radar. Very true. Very true. I've gone into his streams many times. He's come into my streams a few times. We follow each other on Twitter, and we've chatted. EVS is a really cool guy. I want the Bilboverse. That sounds for sure copyrighted. I'm not getting sued. But alright guys, we'll move into the next topic in just a minute, which is going to be about Vic. Some very good information. Some very fucking good information about Vic. I'm very happy to be able to talk about this. I may do a video at some point in the next few days on it. But very, very positive news. I saw about this. So I saw this article. It was sent to me today. It's a Clownfish TV Derezed article. But Anime Matsuri is creating a new dubbing studio with Vic. So Anime Matsuri held a special live stream on their YouTube channel on Sunday night to announce they created their own dubbing studio. The new dubbing studio started in November 2021, and they have already started recording. And then multiple people from the group traveled to Japan to meet with Nippon Animation for a collaboration. And then it says, being an ADR director himself, Mr. Vic was asked by Anime Matsuri to become part of the new dubbing studio. A lot of people have been very worried about Vic and if, he would go back to voice acting and, if he was just going to... There were a lot of people who did genuinely think, after so many people tried to cancel him, that he would just kind of fade away into the night. He would, maybe make some posts from time to time, maybe do a one project here, one project there. It definitely does not seem like that is going to happen. Yeah, Vic be like, hold my beer. It says, over recent years, Vic has been asked countless times when he will return to voice acting in anime. Along with the news of Vic joining the new dubbing studio, Vic, who was a special guest on the live stream, announced he will be voicing in the 2 anime movies and is listed as being the ADR director for both animes. It definitely sounds like he is not slowing down anytime soon, which obviously is so fucking great to hear. I actually haven't seen a lot of social media backlash. Not that I want there to be social media backlash, but I figured that there would be quite a lot of people on social media who would be pretty pissed off at this. Maybe there have been people who have tweeted about it and I just haven't gotten a chance to see all of their mean, nasty, disgusting tweets. Maybe there have been people attacking Vic over this and, you know, basically saying he shouldn't do this. I haven't seen any posts like that. I'm sure that there are a couple that exist, but this is some great fucking news. After all of the Kick Vic stuff that happens, and after all of the cancellation attempts, all of the people who have banked off of attempting to get him canceled, it is great, in my opinion, to see him continue to do what he loves and continue to work on these projects. I mean, he's not slowing down, that's for sure. Vic be like, this isn't even my final form, right? I mean, this is great. This is really fucking positive, and this is really great. And even though there's, you know, there's not a lot of information here, I still did want to briefly bring it up. Again, maybe at some point I'll do a video on this in the next day or two if I get a chance, so I can, you know, show kind of the history and all of the unfortunate situations that Vic has been through over the years of people trying to cancel him. But yeah, for right now, this is the information chat. Anime Matsuri is creating a new dubbing studio with Vic, which is great. Vic deserves something positive. I 100% agree. I 100% agree. Vic got screwed by the judge. His case, yeah. I mean, I've talked about Vic on the channel. I do think that he got completely fucking screwed over. I see people bring up Clownfish as well. This is a de-resed Clownfish article. So yeah. That's great news. It really, really is great news. And even though there's not a lot here, I still did want to bring it up. As it says, this was announced during a Anime Matsuri live stream. I can find that in a minute for you guys if you want, and I can link it in chat. But it was announced 2 days ago. This is a definite win. I 100% agree. Can't spell victory without Vic. Very true. But yeah, that's all that I really had to discuss with the Vic topic. I did want to bring it up, though. Next, we're going to be talking a lot about Netflix. We have 2 Netflix topics to bring up. Lots of Netflix here. Oh, this is also something that I wanted to show really quickly. Thor: Love and Thunder suffers near 70% drop in its second week at the box office. Not looking so good. I mean, usually we see, you know, from week 1 to week 2, pretty substantial drops at the box office. This is definitely one of the larger ones, though. I think that there isn't an uproar because they know they can't touch Anime Matsuri 2 base. Probably, yeah. I would definitely tend to agree with that. I think that they know that whining and bitching and moaning and groaning and complaining on social media isn't going to get them very far in this situation, so they probably don't see a reason to. But, yeah, it says, for a movie that is the most expensive non-Avengers MCU film to date, this is not the performance that Marvel Studios expected nor wanted for Love and Thunder. It says it is the #1 movie in the world for the second consecutive week. However, the overall box office haul has Disney executives wondering if they are going to get anywhere close to the return on investment that they believed. The film suffered a 68% drop for its second weekend at the box office for a total haul of $46 million. This ranks among the MCU's worst second weekend drop-offs, including Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which was a 67%, and Black Widow, a 68%. That to me, I don't know, I feel like, I mean, it makes sense, right? But it sounds so weird hearing that Thor Love and Thunder had the same box office drop second week as Black Widow. I feel like Black Widow was so bad. I mean, Thor Love and Thunder was not a great movie either. It wasn't as bad as Black Widow, but it was still very bad, and people have not been happy about Love and Thunder. But I feel like there was a lot more talk about Black Widow. It says the current worldwide total for the film sits at $497.9 million after 2 weeks, with $264 million internationally and $233 million in the United States. However, insiders claim that the film will have to hit the $700 million worldwide mark just to break even, given the massive costs associated with production. So, yeah, it has had a very large drop in its second week at the box office, which really isn't that surprising to me, but I did want to bring that up quickly. Black Widow was mega bad. I do agree. Thor Love and Thunder, in my opinion, it wasn't great. It wasn't as bad as Black Widow, though. It didn't bring the thunder, so it didn't get love. Actually true, though. Yeah, I do agree, Julie. The Hammers acting like dogs were dumb. The Hammers just... I don't know why they decided to have the Hammers act like animals. I do not like Natalie Portman. I do not like her. Okay, she completely ditched the MCU because she wanted more money, she wanted more screen time, and then she came out after she left and said, I never even really cared about the MCU. And then she decides to come back. She didn't want to stay part of the MCU. Companies should not go crawling back to actors that do not want to be part of their fucking franchises. It's just as simple as that, okay? She didn't want to be part of any more movies. She wouldn't film any other scenes. She threw tantrums. She went into interviews shitting on this company, shitting on the MCU, talking about how she hated her time in the MCU. And then she came back because they came crawling to her. They should have recast her. They should have moved past her. They should have never, ever talked to her again about being part of the MCU. Just my opinion. Well, yeah, obviously money talks, and that's why she would come back to the MCU. But they should have never invited her back in the first place. Jane Foster was a boring character anyway. True. I wasn't too mad at the romance in the first movies. I didn't think that it was that bad. Then again, I'm someone who didn't completely hate Dark World, so I don't know. Is my opinion really valid? Why would you want to be part of bad movies that lock you in a role? Because they make you money? I mean... yeah, a movie might not do well, but if you're locked in a contract and you're getting paid a shit ton of money, more than you'd be getting paid by going to another company and doing other jobs, and you have that security, I mean, I get why she would come back. I mean, at the end of the day, she's just an actress, but they should have never invited her back, and they should have never went crawling back to her saying, we need you in this new movie. You should come back. She ditched Star Wars too. Yeah, I mean, look at Taika Waititi being like, you want to be in my Star Wars movie? Again, with the whole hiring people that don't actually care about your franchises. Just a yikes from me. These movies and these people are just yikes. Is your opinion really valid? That's tough to answer on account. You're a woman's... Yep, I'm a Womex in chat. But yeah, now we're gonna talk about Netflix in a minute. 2 Netflix topics. The first one is going to be their 1 million subscriber loss, and then we're going to be talking about Resident Evil and how the media is just... it is... they love it, okay? they're just so happy for Netflix. They thought that the Resident Evil show was just so fucking amazing. They're simping so hard for it. They are simping. But first we're going to talk about the subscriber loss. So, this came out today. I'm sure you guys have read about it or heard about it or seen something about it, but Netflix, of course. Well, let me back up a little bit before we get into bad content. Netflix has lost 970,000 subscribers in quarter two, beating its estimate by more than 1 million subs. This is a Variety article. It says Netflix reported its second quarter 2022 earnings Tuesday, revealing it lost 970,000 subscribers during the 3-month period that included the launch of the first part of Stranger Things. Obviously, Stranger Things is a massive franchise for Netflix at this point, and they do rely on launches like Stranger Things to get subscribers back. I mean, it's been years since we had Stranger Things, so you'd think that those people might come back because, hey, it's been a couple years since Stranger Things, since I paid for Netflix. I'm going to pay for Netflix again because I want to see season 4, but it didn't really go the way they probably wanted. While that's obviously a hit to the overall tally for the industry's leading subscription streaming platform, it's a far smaller hit than the lost Netflix forecast in April. It said the streamer had projected a net loss of 2 million streaming subscribers for the second quarter, which spans April 1st to June 30th, following a surprise decline of 200,000 in Q1. It says Netflix revealed in its Q2 letter to shareholders it currently has 220 million subscribers globally and is expecting to return to gains in Q3, projecting an additional million subs from July 1st to September 30th. In a nutshell, Netflix has lost 1.3 million subscribers in the US and Canada, stayed flat in Latin America, lost about 770,000 in Europe and West Asia, and grew by about 1 million subscribers in the Asia Pacific region. Now, when we're talking about 1 million or 2 million subscribers, it doesn't sound like a lot when you hear how many they currently have. I mean, they have over 220 million subscribers. Losing 1 million to them, it's bound to happen. They're bound to gain, but they're also bound to lose. And they did project that they would lose a couple million in total this year. And of course, they expect to gain the same amount. So it ends up evening out for them, equaling out for them. It doesn't end the year with a negative 15 million subscribers here, but it's still not good for them because things like Stranger Things Season 4 did launch in this quarter. They expected that to draw people in. I know that Netflix has been talking a lot lately about their next big franchises and how they want something on par with Avatar and Star Wars. They basically want a mega franchise. And to me, when I think of Netflix, I think of a mega franchise being something like Stranger Things. But apparently, Stranger Things isn't the end game for them. It's not, what they want to stick with. They want something larger, something more exciting. And now they're talking about all these different franchises they want to be kind of their next big deal. And they were also talking about like Avatar: The Last Airbender potentially being a giant sell for them. They're also looking at, of course, we know that they have the One Piece live action coming out in, I believe it's technically due to come out next year. But they're also talking about how the One Piece universe might be something they consider creating content for long term. I personally think they were looking at something like Resident Evil as well, which we are going to talk about, but Resident Evil has not been going the way that they anticipated. Resident Evil has not been doing as good as they wanted it to do, and I think that probably isn't sitting well with them. But yeah, I did want to, you know, briefly bring this up because we are talking about Netflix tonight. But Netflix has lost 970,000 subscribers in Q2, beating its estimate by more than 1 million subscribers. So they have lost 1.3 million in total in the US and Canada during that quarter. So yeah, that's all that I really had to discuss with that topic. And next we are going to be discussing Netflix, Resident Evil, and the media. But yeah, quickly, before we get into the next topic, if you all are enjoying the live stream, please make sure to give it a like, share it, subscribe to the channel, check out links in the description and also in the pinned comment. Consider donating via Streamlabs, become a member via YouTube memberships. Also consider gifting channel memberships to other individuals in the community. Like I said, tomorrow evening I will be doing a supporter stream, so if you are a Dark Titan via Patreon, a member here via YouTube memberships, a supporter, you do get access to that stream, and I'm still taking suggestions for it. But yeah, thank you guys for being here, for supporting. I appreciate you all. If the rumors are true, the live-action Avatar is gonna suck ass. I don't have any hope for anything live action Netflix comes out with anymore. I just really don't. I appreciate those re-movies starring Mila now that this horrible series is out. Yeah. Never seen Stranger Things? I like Stranger Things. I mean, I've talked about Stranger Things. I think that the first season was fan-fucking-tastic. I thought the second season was really great still. Season 3 was weak. Season 4 was better than season 3, but it has so many giant freaking plot holes that it's like I can't even fully judge season 4 until season 5 comes out to see what storylines they abandon, how they wrap up the story. I'm still putting my money on Stranger Things is going to end, and the last half hour is going to be them, you know, in the basement during season 1, mourning the loss of their best friend, who just died, who actually fell at the quarry, and it's just going to be this giant D&D campaign, and then the show's going to end. And it was all just a D&D campaign. And, yeah, get fucked. Everyone who just put years into watching this show. I still think that's gonna happen. But yeah. One Piece live action. The Yu Yu live action. Yeah. BioShock. Death Note. You get stuff like this shit. Fucking Resident Evil. I mean, content is Netflix content an L. It was all a dream. It was all just a D&D campaign. That I will put some serious money. Does anyone want to gamble with me? I will put some serious money on that being the end of the show. That it was all just a big D&D campaign. And like the Russia storyline, that wasn't actually a storyline. It's just like the kids heard their parents talking about the Russians and threats in Hawkins and threats in the country, and it was just like them basically kind of listening. So of course they had to do some kind of storyline because of course Joyce's son died, so she wanted to play one D&D campaign in the spot of Will, who was of course their best friend who's dead. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. And when it happens, come back to this stream. Bookmark this fucking stream. On July 19th, 2022. And when that shit happens, check out the donation link in the description and consider donating to someone who actually knows things about entertainment. Okay? Because that's what's gonna happen. It is going to happen. I have to replug in my headphones. Hold on, chat. Vera wants us to gamble. Not that I want people to gamble, but also I want to win. And I know that I'm going to win. There's no shot, okay, that they are ending Stranger Things with la-di-da-di-da, the sun is shining in the sky, everyone is alive, nobody really died, or, oh no, one of the main characters over all of these seasons actually died, but everything else is okay. There was actually this girl who ran around with these powers. There's no shot, dude. They're not gonna do that. We're not seeing Eleven and Mike grow old together and everything be good and everyone live. It's all just a campaign. Just is. Just is. That's all I'm saying. At the end, everyone's gonna be dead. And then Mike, who of course is the DM, because they set up the whole, he's the heart of the party. He's just going to say everything just goes back to the way it was. And all these baddies are just defeated. Because the most powerful player, the most powerful character in all of Dungeons & Dragons is the DM. Which is Mike. They've established this. Fucking Mike Wheeler. Little bitch. I miss old Mike. Anyway, chat, we're going to talk about Resident Evil now. But I like Stranger Things. Stranger Things is good. Winona Ryder is the best part of Stranger Things. Alright, so now we're going to be talking about Netflix's Resident Evil. Now I've talked about Resident Evil being universally hated by everyone on the internet, okay? A lot of critics hate it. A lot of audiences hate it. It's got awful scores, Rotten Tomatoes. It's got a 50% critic and a 25% audience. And it got down. Oh, it went up to a 26. Wow, good for them. But it got all the way down to a 21% yesterday, or the day before. But now, there are a few outlets coming out and trying to defend the show, simping for Netflix's Resident Evil, saying it's the series' strongest adaptation yet, and it's just obscenely good. So let's start off with this comicbook.com article that actually tells the truth. It says Netflix's Resident Evil is getting destroyed by audiences on Rotten Tomatoes. This show is absolutely terrible. There is nothing good in this show. This show is so bad. Words cannot describe. Words cannot fucking describe, okay? If you have not seen it, do not waste your time. Save these couple of hours of your life. But it says even though it has done moderately well with critics, it looks like Netflix's new Resident Evil series isn't finding the same success with general audiences on Rotten Tomatoes. In fact, saying that viewers simply don't like the show might be a bit of an understatement based on the early responses to the new live-action TV adaptation of Resident Evil. It might be one of the lowest reviewed shows that Netflix has released in quite some time. There is no way that this is getting a season 2. They didn't even want to do a season 2 of Cowboy Bebop because it had a 65% and Netflix doesn't renew things under a 70%, okay? There is no shot that this Resident Evil show is going to get greenlit for another season, and if it does, I am calling bullshit, okay? I would rather see a Cowboy Bebop season 2 than a Resident Evil season 2. Everything about this show is just bad. The sets, the way that they told the story. I mean, there's multiple time periods. There's the past, the present that they're trying to show with all of these different characters. There's no transitions between the time periods, and you have no clue. There's none of those transitions. You have no clue what actually is going on, which you're in. Of course, the characters are just so bad. Like the character whose name is Billy, that is a character that they modeled off of Billie Eilish, who enters in their first scene to a Billie Eilish song. And then the actress that they chose for the older version of her is part Asian, even though the original actress was part Hawaiian. I mean, it is just a mess with the characters, and that's not even considering all of the race swaps and the way that they changed stories like Wesker's. Oh, God, this show is a fucking abomination. But, of course, there are some outlets who are simping for Netflix's Resident Evil now. This is by IGN. Oh, everyone loves IGN. Everyone trusts IGN, surely, especially after they put out something like this. Right, guys? You love IGN. They are definitely the best video game entertainment journalists out there. Ah, boy. Netflix's newly released Resident Evil series is an adaptation of Capcom's globally renowned video game series that gets a whole lot right. You guys know at this point, I've streamed, 5 Resident Evil games on the channel? I fucking love the Resident Evil franchise. It is one of my favorite franchises of all time. I love it. But, well, we see how this goes. It says showrunner Andrew Dabb finds a happy medium between original conceptualization and direct callbacks to the game's mechanics or intricacies rooted in Umbrella's flagship virus strains. It's nestled between Paul Anderson's action-forward, non-canon route and the Roberts mirrored execution of survival horror scenes torn right from Capcom's first 2 games. Whether you've been playing Resident Evil games since the first STARS helicopter crashed outside Spencer Mansion, or you only know Anderson's Hollywoodized remix of Capcom's otherwise atmospheric haunted horrors, Netflix's show appeases both crowds. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. If you like the video games, okay, this show is going to disappoint you. Maybe if you know nothing about the video games and you know very little just about the franchise in general, maybe you could go into this show and find something to like, potentially. But the problem is that if you like the video games, you know anything about the video games, you're going to watch this and go, oh, okay. I mean, it's not good. It says, by adhering to future timelines, Wesker, who yes, canonically died in a fatal volcano incident, connects Dabb's dystopian outbreak future with Umbrella's notable sins. They go on to talk about the characters that, they didn't add. The cornerstones of Resident Evil are fundamental: Umbrella, Outbreak, zombies, and corruption. And then they talk about from Resident Evil, where you control either Chris Redfield or Jill Valentine, matching symbols to unlock mansion doors, to Ethan Winters dodging a nightmare fetus crawling out of House Benevito's basement. Village was such a good game. Gameplay has always featured non-brawler puzzle interactions. And then if we look at Decider said Resident Evil review, Netflix's zombie series is obscenely good. When Netflix first announced that it was moving ahead with a live-action Resident Evil series, most fans of the franchise thought they knew what to expect: some jump scares, lots of gore, and a plot that made little to no sense. This journalist, this writer, this hack is saying that Resident Evil fans expected this show to have a plot that made little to no sense, because they're basically saying the game plots made little to no sense. So that's why they'd expect it, because that's what they were used to. Has this person never played Resident Evil? This person surely knows nothing about the franchise if this is what they're saying. If they're saying that this show is good and the games had plots that made little to no sense. I mean, yeah, they're horror and science fiction, but they made sense in the actual stories, in the universe that was told to us. As long as it cleared the aggressively low bar set by Resident Evil Apocalypse, everyone would be happy. And it didn't, though. The bar for live-action Resident Evil at this point is so fucking low. And for some reason, no one can get it right. The movie that came out last year, that Resident Evil movie, there are people who at this point are so desperate who are saying that was better than this. And they're both shit. Oh, I can't believe it. It says, Netflix's Resident Evil isn't just one of the best additions to this storied franchise. That's a fucking cap. It's far and away one of the most addicting, thrilling, and delightfully unpredictable shows of 2022. This person probably sits on their thumb all day and say that that's addicting and thrilling and delightfully unpredictable. There is no fucking shot. There is someone who knows anything about Resident Evil, anything, who would go, this is it. This is one of the best additions to the franchise. This is one of the most addicting, thrilling, and delightfully unpredictable shows, even of just 2022. This person hasn't watched much entertainment this year. Or at all. They know nothing about Resident Evil. And they decided to just put out this article so that they could simp for Netflix, so that maybe Netflix will give them some behind-the-scenes information, maybe some pictures early, okay? Jesus Christ. The sentiment... Oh my god. Oh my god. The Resident Evil fucking slaps. They're talking about this show. I love Resident Evil. It's one of my favorite franchises ever, but this show is not it. It does not slap. Even if you've never played a second of the video games, clearly we know here who hasn't. So of course they're gonna say it's okay if you haven't. Or have never watched any of the Mila Jovovich movies, clearly they also haven't. Chances are that you'll be hooked. Because I was, even though I've never done any of these things. I mean, come on. It's just... How can you be hooked on something this bad? Have you never seen entertainment before? Have you never seen a movie or a TV show before? You know what? If you've never seen a movie or a TV show before, I could see you going, wow, this shit is a masterpiece. This person clearly has not watched a lot in their time if they're saying that this is great. And also one of the best shows of 2022. How dare you, Vera? How dare I what? What did I do? Oh my god. At every moment, these two timelines complement each other. Yeah, if you can figure out which timeline you're in before it switches to the other timeline, there's no transitions. While an adult Jade is revving up a chainsaw and preparing to saw through a literal horde of monsters, her younger self is discovering that she isn't. Oh, excuse me. Let me read their great fucking journalism. Her younger self is discovering that she's isn't the only one. She's isn't, chat. She's isn't the only one who has encountered an infected person. As the younger versions of themselves are forced to run and hide from various umbrella lackeys, our hero's older counterpart is trapped in the middle of tense trade negotiations. Nothing about this show is tense or thrilling or well written or well executed or entertaining. This sounds like fake news. What media is defending the new Resident Evil? I've shown 3 articles. Decider. It's a great addition. It's one of the best additions to the story franchise. It's far and away one of the most addicting, thrilling, and delightfully unpredictable shows of 2022. And this one, it's the strongest adaptation yet. There's just no way that people who are not literal bots wrote this. Shut the fuck up, Chris. Shut the... Alright, thank you for the $10 donation, Chris. Much appreciated. Thank you, thank you. I just, yeah, it's clearly because I hate women. It's clearly because I'm a istaphobe. It's something or another. Thank you for the dono. Yeah. I just don't... I don't know how anyone could watch this show and say, wow, this is great. Your bar for entertainment must be really, really low. But yeah, chat, I might talk about this in a video tomorrow. I'm not exactly sure, but that's all that I really had to discuss tonight. We talked about Resident Evil and Netflix. We talked about Netflix losing subscribers. We talked about Thor quickly, Vic, Rippaverse comics, and we also talked about Lollipop Chainsaw. I will be wrapping up stream in about 10 or so minutes, so if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. Any topics you'd like me to discuss, feel free to ask. But yeah. Chat, tomorrow, like I said, tomorrow evening at 8 p.m. Eastern, I will be doing a supporter stream. Supporters, if you have any suggestions, leave them in the channel in the Discord server. I will post a link in like the early afternoon tomorrow on Patreon, the YouTube channel memberships tab, and also in the Discord server. But yeah. IGN is fake news just like CNN and good video movies. I mean, I don't like IGN very much, but if they're going to put up stupid articles, they're going to get critiqued. When will I be able to buy the Varadark homemade Baja Blast? You can make it at home. That's the point of it being homemade. Resident Evil 4 Eva? Oh, I thought you were saying 4 is in Resident Evil 4. Forever. That's why I hesitated. I think... I mean, hey. I've talked about my favorite Resident Evil games. I still think that Resident Evil 2 is slightly above Resident Evil Village. But Resident Evil Village is definitely my number 2. And then it's Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil Village, Resident Evil 4. And then I'd have to really start thinking about them. Will you ever do Streamlabs for fans to talk amongst each other and the platform? I'm not sure what you mean. But we do have a Discord server for people to chat in that anyone's welcome to join. I mean, all of the Resident Evil games, though, are really good. I do have to say, Resident Evil 3, to me, is kind of a letdown. I don't know. It was never my favorite, but, like, I don't think that there's any Resident Evil games that I would say, ew, I will not play that again, or ew, that was disappointing, because they're all good in their own ways. Maybe I'm just a Resident Evil simp. I don't know. But I'm not simping for this show because it is so bad. I'm so sad that it's so bad as well. I wanted it to be good. We knew it wasn't going to be, though. We need the secret Discord server, Vera. That's for the pay-to-winners only. You're not supposed to tell everyone about that. I would put Village much higher if the story wasn't so lackluster. I actually thought the story was really good. Yeah, I feel like Village is more of a standalone story game. I feel like you could have played all the other games and you'd like it, or you could play it as a standalone game and have never played the other games and you would like it and you kind of understand, you know, what was going on. And I think that maybe it doesn't have as much, you know, detail as it could regarding the rest of the franchise, since obviously it's set in the Village and the whole game is about the Village. But I thought it was really great. Thank you for the $2 donation, much appreciated. 2 was my favorite. Yeah, for me, Resident Evil 2 was my favorite, and then Resident Evil Village was my second favorite. Vera going on Diablo Immortal on us? Yep, donate $4.99 right now. Become a member, join memberships, and then you'll get put in the raffle to potentially win a spot in the secret Discord server. But if you become a member for the $4.99 and then you donate $4.99 via Streamlabs, then you have double the chance to be put into the raffle to get potentially picked for the secret Discord server. That's it. That's it. Right now, there is not a second season greenlit. They're talking about, they have ideas for a second season, but I don't think a second season is going to happen just because of how much it is hated. Village just had an amazing atmosphere, in my opinion. Oh yeah, Village's atmosphere was, it was chef's fucking kiss. And the ending was great. The way that they got you to go to the village, like the way that they transitioned you to the village, and the ending, oh, it was just so good. I want Lady Domitrescu though. I miss her. Damn. It's been a while since we've seen Domi Mommy. But when the expansion, the DLC comes out in October, I'm gonna play it. I might do a whole other playthrough of Village because the third person mode is gonna be in it. So, I don't know. I might have to. Vera sounds like a pyramid scam? Nah, nothing like that going on here. Surely. Me? Scam you guys? Nah. For a small one-time payment of $500,000, you can to become a member. For $500,000, I'll let you become a moderator for 24 hours. It's even better than just becoming, you know, a member. Okay? You can be a mod for 24 hours. Okay? Only 24, but 24. That's my final offer. I think the best Resident Evil story is 7. I liked the story of 7 a lot. I wasn't really a big fan of the setting in 7, though. I felt like... I don't know. Maybe I didn't like it as much because it didn't feel as I don't know, I feel like it didn't feel as crazy as some of the other games. Like, if you look at Village compared to, like, Biohazard, I just feel like the characters, the setting's way cooler. Why didn't I get that deal? Because, Chris, you were one of the hashtag blessed who got a wrench because you got lucky, okay? Chris, I could give up your mod stat, though, and we can raffle it off for sure. You can get 15 cents for your mod wrench. Diablo Immortal is officially cheaper than Vera. That's life. Resident Evil 4 was the game that made the game scary again. I really loved 4. 4 was... It hit different. It really did. Varaverse vampires. Guys, I'm not creating a Varaverse, okay? We're not doing a Varaverse. It's a great thought that 5 of you would want a Varaverse. Honestly, that's great. But we're not doing a Varaverse. Sorry to disappoint, chat. But alright, guys, I'll be wrapping up stream in a minute. Any last minute questions, feel free to leave them in chat. And on Thursday, guys, I will be doing Stray on it came out today. And initially I was thinking about playing it today, but I wanted to do a discussion stream. But on Thursday, we will be starting our playthrough of Stray, and I'm so excited. The Varaverse only has cats, literally. Literally. That's just the way that it goes. That's just life. Cats are better. Village was crazier, but I don't necessarily know if it translates to better story. Like, Chris kills that one chick and doesn't tell you who Mother Miranda is. Like, dude, you're stupid. I agree that Village was crazier, and maybe it didn't it didn't mesh as well with all of the other game stories. But I felt like it was just so... It went in such a good direction and a right direction that it became one of my favorites. I love it. And the characters were chef's kiss. It was just all so good. The first, second, and seventh and village are the best in my opinion. And the cool thing is that you can see how much the characters have evolved and all of them. True. My thing, though, is that Resident Evil 4, in my opinion, was better than Biohazard. Biohazard was good. 4 was better. Vampire cats in the Varaverse. We're not doing a Varaverse, and no vampire cats. Great ideas, though, chat. Great ideas. I commend you all for coming up with these amazing themes. Truly. I consider all the waifu games part of the Varaverse. Seems pretty good. I do like the waifu games. Also, guys, I don't know what game is gonna be next in the waifu saga. I've been thinking about kind of like what more waifu-ish game I want to play next. Because we have like Super Bullet Break coming out. We have Stray for right now. I think I want to play Bayonetta. Because I've never streamed a Bayonetta game. And I will be streaming Bayonetta 3 when it comes out. But I think I want to maybe do a Bayonetta playthrough. No promises. But I am thinking about it. Is Otten in the Varaverse? Will there be a perverted otter in the Varaverse? No, no, no. It'd be a penguin. For sure, for sure. We're not stealing ideas. But it would be a penguin. We don't know his name yet. But I'm sure we could come up with one. Karate cats in the Varaverse? Absolutely. Absolutely. Crowdsourced Varaverse lore. Listen, you guys are the one coming up with the Varaverse stuff. It's not me. Otten is canon though, but he's not the main companion. Okay, it would definitely be a penguin, I think. But he is canon. He does exist in it. We can't forget about Otten. But yeah, chat. All right. We've had some fun talking about the Varaverse at the end of the stream. But oh my god, you guys and your Varaverse lore. I am going to God, chat, come on. 10:15 the penguin. He'll end every sentence with dude. Okay, guys. I am going to wrap up the stream here. Thank you all so much for stopping by tonight. I do really appreciate it. If you enjoyed, make sure to give it a like. If you didn't, give it a dislike. Check out the links in the description. Follow me on social media. Twitter, mine's BitChute, Odyssey, Getter. Join us over on Discord. We're very active there, and I do tag you all when I go live. Support our stream tomorrow evening, 8 p.m. Eastern, and I will also be doing Stray on Thursday and then into the weekend. I will let you guys know the streaming schedule for the weekend, a little bit closer to the weekend, probably on Thursday. But yeah, I didn't upload any videos today, so go and check out yesterday's videos, the past few days worth of videos. I talked about Massage Freaks. I made a video on Nintendo not censoring it, and then I made a follow-up video about the developers potentially censoring it. I talked about Lord of the Rings of Power, and the showrunners. I've talked about Thor. I've talked about Bayonetta. I've talked about a lot of things, obviously, over the past few days. With 2 videos almost today. But, yeah, I'm going to wrap up stream here. Thank you for the donations, for the support tonight. Grizzly, it's good to see you, but I am wrapping up stream. Grizzly #1. You should stop by the Discord sometime, Grizzly. But alright, guys, I am going to wrap up the stream here. Thank you all so much for stopping by, and have a fantastic evening, everyone.